Welcome to Whispers to Wisdom, the joyful podcast where spiritual connection meets personal growth. And I'm your host Elaine, and today we're delighted to welcome international medium Billy Cook. In this episode, Billy shares uplifting insights on developing mediumship and the inner work that supports connections, authentic connections. Whether you're just beginning or deepening your practice, you'll hear inspiring guidance to help turn your whispers into wisdom. Let's get started. Well, I'm just sat here with the lovely, amazing Billy Cook. Excellent spiritual medium, psychic medium, works both ways. And Billy's a man that I met him a long time ago. It was 10 plus years ago. And one thing I always remember, and you probably won't remember this, Billy, but I met you at one of your workshops. And at the end of the workshop, I came over and I said to you, when I do services or anything like that, I don't like doing mediumship in front of other mediums. And I always remember you said, "Oh, it's a shame, isn't it?" And I thought, oh, and I'm going to be honest with you and say, for a second, you made us feel about that size. But after that first second, I gave my head a shake and I thought, he's right. It is so stupid, isn't it? It is so stupid. It's because my confidence wasn't there. Yeah. And then, and it was after that, I thought, every time I'd done a service or anything and there was mediums there, my first thought was, oh. And then I'd hear your voice say, "Oh, it's a shame, isn't it?" And I'd just go, pull them big girl pants up and just get on with it. Come on. So you probably won't remember that. But that helped me over my confidence, I must admit. That really helped me over my confidence. And I've always found you to be a person who is confident and just sails through it. Because it never appears that you get flustered or anything. You just, I've got to say that.
Because before I go on, I pull up my big girl pants.
Well, yes.
And what you're saying, what I meant by that statement is that it doesn't matter who's there in the audience. They're all normal human beings, mostly just wanting the message from their loved ones. That's simply what it is. No different to you or I. And although some of them have got their head up their jacksie.
Yeah.
But I don't really let people throw me.
No.
I'm glad you don't now. So, which is
yeah. And I've seen you demonstrate many times, and I've had some funny messages off you. But because I know that you work with humour when the humour's there.
Exactly.
And I must admit, one message, the first time me and Davy came to see you, and you'd went to Davy, and then you'd said to him, is that your wife or your girlfriend next year? And he said yes. And then you had said, "I know a few prison officers are looking for her." Well, we were laughing, we were crying, we were laughing. We were really, really laughing, because the funny thing was, afterwards there was a few people said, "Do you have prison officers looking for you?" I says, "No." I says, "I don't." I says, "But," I says, "there was a time," I says, "when I could have." I says, so he was spot on at what he said. Mm-hmm. We were crying. And we've seen you do work with so much humour.
You see, what I can't understand with a lot of mediums, they always look as though they're constipated when they're working. And to be able to communicate with the spirit, it's magic. It's beautiful. It's funny. And these loved ones that have passed over, they haven't lost their sense of humor, their sense of joy. And it is magical. It's a joyful experience to blend the two worlds together. So I allow those people with their humor to come through. It's not my humour. I'm allowing their humour to put the thoughts into my mind to what to say.
Uh-huh.
So people say, "Oh, aren't you funny?" No, I'm not. The spirit world allows me to be
Uh-huh.
with what they're putting into my mind to talk about.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And and I've got to say though, the way that you work, allowing the humour to come through, it's very touching. It's very touching when you see,
Yeah,
even if you're not receiving a message, it's very, very touching to see you bringing the humour through to people who could be going out crying their eyes out with sadness.
the thing is, as well, I'm always aware. First of all, people paying money to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, the other thing is that many people come in and they probably haven't been out or had fun or joyful, and they don't want to go out all miserable. So what I try to do is lighten their load for perhaps an hour or two,
Yes.
so they can go out and say, "I've had a good night."
Uh-huh.
Because I always say mediumship should be entertaining,
Uh-huh.
not entertainment, which are two very different things.
Yeah.
And you know yourself, there's nothing worse than sitting there an hour and a half with some boring medium
Uh-huh.
going on and on and on, and you come out and you feel worse than when you went in.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I believe it's a very much a joyful experience, or should be.
Uh-huh.
The love, the joy, the humor, the fun, the beauty, the magic, the embrace of the spirit world as it comes close. It's wonderful. And I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Oh, I fully agree with you there. Fully agree with you. And the thing, what I've always wondered is everyone has different way to come into it.
Hmm.
How was your way? So what I mean is, like say, I heard my grandma talking about this one getting a message from my dad and, oh, he's been dead for 20 years and all this and that. And I remember thinking, huh?
Hmm.
So I went into a church when I was 14, waiting or expecting these dead people to get up and walk or something. I don't know what I was expecting. But then when I heard the medium, I remember looking like this to see who was down on the floor, telling them how were they knowing this. But also, I remember, the medium that was on saying such and such is your dad here. And I remember sitting there thinking, well, I knew my dad was dead. How did you not know that? But I didn't know, obviously. I didn't know I was a medium. I thought I was a schizophrenic for years. So, how was it like for you?
Well, I was lucky because my mum was a psychic, and,
Right.
and she used to read the tea leaves
Uh-huh.
and the playing cards.
Yeah.
I was always very much aware as a from for six-ish about the
Uh-huh.
so-called spirit world.
Right.
Although it meant nothing to me and I took no notice of it. It was just something my mum did. But I always joke about it and say, which is true, I used to lay on the floor listening to her,
Uh-huh.
doing her little messages, and people used to come to her, oh,
Mhm.
do the tea leaves. And I used to say, I knew everyone was pregnant down our street before their husbands.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
was good with that. And anyway, I didn't pay much attention to it, to be truthful.
Uh-huh.
So I said a few things, mainly about my granny when she died, and everyone was crying. I said, "Oh no, she's alive. I've just seen her."
Uh-huh.
Like that, and Aunt Aggie ate all the fish and chips, which was true apparently,
Uh-huh.
because when she would, in the old days, you must remember, everybody used to gather around the bed.
Yes.
Whenever someone was dying, they
Yeah.
was all there, and
Uh-huh.
there was 14 of my relations there, and quite a big family we had, and there was hungry. So my cousin Terry went over to the chip shop,
Uh-huh.
14 fish and chips.
Right.
Anyway, and by the time we come back, she had died.
Uh-huh.
So I'm coming home from school when I saw her,
Uh-huh.
and I said, "Oh, you're all right now, Gran?" And she said, "Yeah, tell your mum," because she knew about my mum and the
Uh-huh.
dealers. She said, "Tell your mum that Aunt Aggie ate all the fish and chips." And it meant nothing to me. I
Uh-huh.
skipped home, and I go in, everyone was crying. And so I said, "What are they crying? This old Granny Cook died." I said, "No, I just seen her." And because my mum said, "What?" So she said, "Aren't egg yet all the fish and chips?" And everyone started laughing, and it was true.
Uh-huh.
So little things like that. My sister said, my mum used to make me go with her, and
Uh-huh.
said I used to tell them things if they wouldn't take me, like your bike's gonna get a puncture and things like that, and it always did.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Silly
Uh-huh.
little thing, but I paid no attention to it. To me, I was more interested in just watching Doris Day on the telly or TV, or singing songs, dancing around, playing football, whatever it might. I love sport, all
Uh-huh.
those things. So it meant nothing to me.
Mhm.
And my mum died when I was 14, and I saw her straight away.
Yeah.
And I'd always, had things stick in your mind. I was on my bike going to do my paper round, and a boy who I was at school said, "Oh, sorry to hear about your mum, Billy." I said, "Oh, that's all right," because somehow I knew she was all right.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
This
Uh-huh.
wasn't through anything mediumistic or anything.
No,
It was
no.
thought in my mind.
Uh-huh.
And oh, I've got a cough. And anyway, I didn't pay much attention to it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
When I was at sea, I saw things, things that happened,
Uh-huh.
or people that were supposed to have died was there. And then I was at sea, my young sister died,
Right.
and she was mediumistic.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, she died, and we were very, very close, because she was the youngest one of the family as well. So I had 6 siblings.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, I come home straight away from America.
Uh-huh.
And they flew me home, and I got there just 5 minutes before the funeral started. My elder sister wouldn't have the funeral until I was actually there.
Right. Uh-huh.
And anyway, I told Marlene, that was her name, after this, and that's when I'd moved to Blackpool, and my own spiritual stuff was beginning to sort of rise up, becoming more interested.
Yeah.
And because before that, I had no real saw things,
No,
done
no.
things,
Uh-huh.
had no interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
Too busy living life. As I used to joke about it, you probably heard me. Life was drugs, rock and roll. And
Yes.
it was wonderful. And a medium said to me once, "Oh my God, don't you regret all that?" I said, "Not at all. It's wonderful."
Exactly.
Leads you up to who you are today and have an
Exactly.
understanding of life. Anyway, the Marlene, I don't know, she'd tell me if there's life after death or whatever it is, and all this nonsense that people were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Blackpool, as I said, I had a hotel there then, and I met so many daft psychics, so many.
Yeah.
They all told me I was going to get a bigger hotel on the seafront. I was going to do this, I was going to do that, and I thought, oh, this is not what I want to hear. And it was just nonsense. But I had a good friend there, Steve, still friends today, and we used to go around to different centres, churches, things, what's called Albert Road, and but I never really got any info.
No.
Until one day he said, "You must go and see this little Welsh girl who's a medium in a shoe shop."
Uh-huh.
So we goes round there, and I sat there, and I had to pretend that I was buying a pair of shoes.
Uh-huh.
Put these shoes on, and she was saying, "I've got your mum here." What a reading! What a reading! It blew my mind.
Yeah.
She got my sister. I was in no doubt. And it was at that time I was going to sell the hotel because I was getting fed up with it. And she said, "Hold on, you will get the fee that you want for it, the price," which I did, because it was the time of the Depression in the 80s. It was going down. And so anyway, I did everything she said. She described the cafe that I'd have in Torquay, Abacum. Everything about it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, and I thought, oh, yeah. So it made me more interested. And I started going to more and listening properly at the different centres and the church in Albert Road. And then I decided to go down to Torquay I'd sold the hotel, got the money that she said I would.
Uh-huh.
And it's when things like that happen to you, you know there's something.
Oh, yeah.
Not some of these shitty,
100%.
shally messages that people get.
Yes. Yeah.
You need a new pair of shoes. Oh, Jesus. If I
Uh-huh.
hear that all the time, I die. But
Yeah. Uh-huh.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I goes down to Torquay, and I oh, I'm getting above myself. Um, I I was buying a restaurant up in Steve up in Blackpool.
Uh-huh.
Just before we was going to open, I gave the man it was £1,000 in those days, a lot of money, just to take
Uh-huh.
the market. So I definitely have it. I said, but I'm going down to Torquay to see friends,
Mhm.
have a little break, and then I'll come back. And I always remember it's on a Wednesday. I
Mhm.
said, there we'd exchange contracts and do everything. I come down to Torquay, and I'm walking along the seafront. I was staying with some friends there, and all passed over now. And and all of a sudden, this voice, I can hear this voice saying, "This is where you're supposed to be. You've had your fun. The work begins."
Mhm.
I thought, because you do know I swear a little bit.
Oh, just a bit, yeah. Uh-huh.
What is going on?
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking around. Didn't know what it was. I thought it was going off my head.
Uh-huh.
But it was so strong, so strong. And I knew I had to be there. I've never felt like that
Uh-huh.
before or since.
Uh-huh.
And as strong as that, I should say.
Yeah.
And I went back on the Wednesday, saw the man. He wouldn't give me my money back because I hadn't done it through the lawyer.
Uh-huh.
I didn't care. On the Saturday, I was living in Torquay.
Mhm.
But the day before I went down, Steve always brought new mediums to me and psychic. He said, you must go and see this one, Patrick. So I goes round and the door opened. There was this little gay guy who I'd seen at parties and things. And said, I've come to see Patrick, because I knew his name wasn't Patrick. Some other silly name. And anyway, I got these stairs and there's this guy, there's very, very camp gay guy. And I thought, oh no. So he said, you're the one that called me Mystic Meg, aren't you? I said, I was only joking. And anyway, oh, Elaine, it blew my mind. Not just then, but afterwards.
Yes.
And he gave me all my loved ones in the spirit world, even my dogs.
Uh-huh.
And he told me you're moving to Torquay. He didn't know I was going the next day.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He described my cafe, the curtains, the tablecloth, everything in it. And he said you would change the Georgian windows, which I did,
Uh-huh.
because it was so old-fashioned. And anyway, he was absolutely marvelous. He named the person who was going to mentor me
Uh-huh.
and who I'd be sitting with in circle. And he named some of the people I'd be sitting in circle with. He said about theatres and being on stage. I said, no, I'm not interested, which I wasn't.
Uh-huh.
And which I turned out I used to do the theatres doing
Uh-huh.
this. I said, no. Anyway, he was absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Uh-huh.
And that's the second bit of proof I had. I knew where I had to go.
Yeah.
So Steve drove me down, because I didn't drive at the time. Steve drove me down to Torquay, and I stayed with my mate Ray. And the next week, I was looking around for a cafe. I found this cafe. I was in there within a week. You can exchange as quick as that when you want to.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And anyway, I said, how much do you take? And she said 25. I thought, oh, 250 a day won't be bad. She was talking about £25 a week. And I thought, oh my God, well, I got it.
Uh-huh.
It was terrible. The next day I cried, oh, what have I done? But I just got down to it. Within the day that we opened, it was a hit straight away.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Absolutely brilliant. My mate Roy, who's still friends with us now, he said, have you ever been over to Painting Spirituals Church? I said, no. He said, I'm going tomorrow with my mum. Do you want to come?
Uh-huh.
So off we went. And there was another Agnes Porter, her name was a beautiful old Scottish medium, and she was doing a flower service.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, she's a mentor, talking to the flowers." But the next day, something took me back, and we went back on the Sunday. And Betty Reeves, who was my mentor, she said to me, "Do you want to join the circle?" So we looked on the wall. She said, "There it is. Put your name down." So me and Rob put our names down, and I said to her, always remember, I said, "Do you believe in God?" She said, "That's so bloody stupid. Of course I do." And anyway, she pointed out the 7 principles to me. So next thing, I'm sitting in circle with Betty for 2 years. And she said, "If you're not working within 2 years, I'll just throw you away. You'll be no good." So anyway, within 2 years, I was working, taking my first service at the Guild. And then it just went on from there. And unbelievable. It just, everything seemed to happen as it should have done.
Yes. And my belief is that when things are like that, it's meant to be. You know, opportunities.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a case of, if it's meant to be, the opportunities will come your way and they'll be right at the right time.
Exactly. Very much
You
so.
don't have to force it. You don't have to push it. It's just there. It's just there.
It just happened. And the cafe took off straight away.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. And the girl that was working with me, I had Sue, she used to come and work with me. She sat in circle as well. And not my circle, but another one. Brilliant. My old mate Connie, who's now passed, she was doing healing. And I noticed there was no working man's cafe. It was all the holiday makers.
Right.
So mine, I said, right, we need a working man's cafe. And in those days, they didn't do an all-day breakfast. It was breakfast finished at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so it was all-day breakfast. And all these workmen come. Connie was a healer, and it was hilarious. She'd be doing healing in one corner of the cafe. Then the rounds are out like that doing the healing. I'll be doing readings behind the counter. And it's hilarious. But it used to be packed every day. And wonderful.
Yeah.
And when my spiritual work began to take off, and I was getting invited to different places, I couldn't run both. And you know, it wasn't always about money for me. It was always about, you got to earn a living doing this work. But make a choice. And so the call of the spirit was much more stronger than the call of the egg and chips. So happened. And then I just sort of went for all these different little centres and churches around Devon, Cornwall, Somerset, all around this area. And then things went up further, and I was broke, absolutely broke. And a mate of mine, Keith, I don't know if you ever met him, brilliant medium, who's now passed over. Nearly everyone I know's passed over. And anyway, and I said, I tried to get a loan, pay for me rent, because all the money that I'd earned from the cafe and that was going on working spiritually. Driving here, driving there. So I'd like to drive by them. And we're walking past Halifax, who I had my first mortgage with. And it said loans coming today. And so I went in, and she looked me up and she said, "How much?" I went, 2,000. So yeah, no problem. Over to my bank, the Barclays, and we come out there, and I said to Keith, "Let's go on holiday." We went on holiday, and it was great. And I come back from there. There was a letter from the Spiritual Association of Great Britain, who had heard of me and invited me to work there, and I was there for 12 years. And it was from that opened up the avenue of going all around the country, Scotland to Ireland, Wales, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, all these different places, and traveling further afield. It was wonderful. So it all began from the holiday in Madeira that we went to. So as I say, I even went to the northeast.
You did? That's where I met you. Yes.
Because now that's 40 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes very quickly. Yeah.
And the thing is, and I fully agree with you. The mediumship back then was amazing. It's still amazing now with certain mediums, but I think that there's a lot of people now who would rather, you're going to be drinking a cup of tea within the next 6 months. You're going to be getting a haircut in the next 2 years. There's a lot of people who aren't sitting.
They're not developed properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a shame, but thankfully, your mediumship is still there, and thankfully, we can still witness it because you're on Zoom as well.
Yeah, I do Zoom. I do my online course the new course starts on the 21st of January. So if anyone's listens to this and want to join us, there's still time.
Exactly.
And on my Facebook, message me. But and I do that's a 6-week course, and some of the people I've had on it they've been with me for 3 years, and they enjoy doing it because it's fun. And I always explain to them, I never missed one Monday when I was developing. I was there, and the rest of the group we used to say we don't want holidays. The only time we have a break was at Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the money that we used to pay to go each week to our teacher, she used to take us out for our Christmas dinner.
Well, yeah. And and the thing is, them values, I think of, them values stay with you.
Oh, values that she with dedication, discipline. They were so simple. And as you grow, because a lot of people don't realize, first of all, they say, I hear it now, it's my job. I have to earn a living.
Yeah.
For me, it was always a calling.
Yes.
I made more money when I had the cafe.
Yes.
When I had the hotel, made more money. But I get enough to get by now. I'm an old age pensioner now.
Yeah.
I believe, yes, every man deserves their pay, as they say. Not the it drives me mad when people exceed that. Not exceed what just it's too expensive. 100, 200 pounds for a reading. It's greed. It's greed.
Yes.
Greed.
Yes.
That is where people say you're playing on the greed for people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that's wrong. But yes, you need to pay for your electric, your gas, whatever it may be. Decent living. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Which I find terrible.
100%. 100%. And that's one of the things, you hear stories about people that prey on the grieving and things like that, It's like there's a medium who there's a medium who's a few years ago was sitting in the graveyard beside children's graves and approaching parents and things like that, You do have it. But unfortunately, those stories get out there more than what the good stories are about the genuine people, about the genuine mediums.
The nice things, people don't, the journalists and the papers don't want to write about them.
No.
They always want to write about the sensational.
Exactly.
In good development, which I love teaching. My workshops are always joyful and fun.
Yes.
But is what they don't do these days is they don't talk about the growth of the spirit of the soul as an individual. But that's why we're here. And they only so much emphasize these days on the message. And although people talk a lot about philosophy, but not a lot of them practice it.
I couldn't agree with you more, Billy.
They talk it, but don't do it. But as you grow with the soul and your philosophy and all that, Calvin, as a person, that's what your classes are for. That's what your circles are for.
Yeah.
They don't do that so much now. And that's where you learn to be more considerate, compassionate, your empathy grows, and you begin to like yourself. Because I believe that when you sit in circle or begin to start wherever you are, you've got to learn to know about you.
Yeah.
You learn about you, and you know what you do, what you can do, and what you can't do.
Uh-huh.
You don't change, but
No.
are more compassionate.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So, and how can you not be when you're working with people's emotions and all the
Exactly.
things that, as we said about the drink, drugs, rock and roll? I
Uh-huh.
mean, I understand people's feelings when they come to me
Yeah.
about life.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I believe that too often in the past, mediumship was too cluck cluck.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
it was
Uh-huh.
very Sunday school.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nowadays, we've got young men being the highest suicide rates. We've
Yeah.
got young men being killed and women in Afghanistan, and it was killed in Iraq and places like that.
Yeah.
And going back to the old days during the war years, that's why mediumship was good, I believe, after it, because
Uh-huh.
there were so many people coming through that had had terrible times.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You know, and yeah, it is. It's and talking about men having the highest suicide rate. Davy works in Cambridge,
yeah,
and when he first moved on to this refinery, the first week, the first week, he'd there was a young lad there. I won't say his name. There was a young lad there, and at the end of I think his third day or maybe something like that, um, he disappeared. And on the refinery they do a lot of head counts throughout the day, and this day there was one head down, and anyway he was found hanging in the rafters of the where they were building, and then so that got closed. The police had to go and crime scene, and then maybe 2 months later, there was another lad with the same name started, and at the end of his first day, again he went missing. And the word went from the site, and the refinery where Davy was working, or where he is working, there's thousands of below because it's massive. And again, he was found in the same rafters, hung himself, and the whole site closed down for about 3 days because everyone was in shock.
actually.
And I did say to Davy, I says, well, have you ever felt him around you? But Davy doesn't tell any of them what he does.
Mm.
I think he's told a couple of them, and that was it. Because he's staying upstairs in the pub, and he'd said to us this night, he was on the phone, and he'd said, I keep hearing him banging up in the attic. I says, it'll be Jake the Peg. What he's talking about? I says, he's got his wooden leg. I says, he's banging his leg around the floor. I says, he wants you to go up and say it. So whenever he's on the phone, I'll say, how's Jake? He'll say, oh. But the funny thing was, though, Davey was going to bed at night time, and when he was waking up, his bedroom door was wide open.
Mm.
It had been locked, but it was wide open. And I said to him, I says, it's just Jake, just being down. I says, checking on you. I says, don't worry about it. So he's been winding up the other lads who he digs with. But, the thing is, well, here's one thing. Again, you might remember this, you might not. A few years ago, I came to see you, and my friend David Paul, he was supposed to be coming as well. And David, he must have been your number one fan because he loved you. So I had texted him and said,
Is that the
don't
voice?
forget, David Paul.
Yeah, it's something to do with the theatre.
Yes, he was the manager. Yeah, yeah.
You kept in touch.
Yeah. And so I had sent him a text and said, don't worry, don't forget. I says, are you going to Darlow? And didn't get no reply from him. And then we came over to Darlington on the night time, and I always remember I was still outside and I was having a cigarette. I smoked then, I don't now. I was outside, and you pulled up with Gordon, and you came over and I spoke to you and that, and then you went in, and you'd introduced us to Gordon. Now then, when we went in and you were up on the platform, it was the strangest thing because you got up first and you kept looking up to us at the back. And, because you know yourself, when you go to see a medium, you always notice when the medium looks at you because you always think, I'm going to get a message. So you kept looking up to us at the back. And then you sat down, and then Gordon got up and he gave a message. And in the message, he looked up at the back and he said, I've got a David here. And we were all like, no. And then he said, right, okay then. And then he moved on. And there was a second message. He said, David again. He looked up at us. And I'll be honest with you, I put my hand over my mouth. It was the first time I'd seen Gordon like live. And I'd said, I thought he'd be better than that. At least he should know where he's going. But he moved on again, and then the third one, he looked up at us and he says, I've got a David here. He says, he's so insistent. And we're like, and I think I said at that time, I says, there's David, but that's you. You're living, you're sitting here. I says, he cannot be with you. So, so we're sitting, and then you got up again and you looked up at us, but you didn't say the name. You just looked up at us. And then afterwards, I was talking to you in the tea room. And the next morning, I got a phone call. Elaine, have you heard about David? And what had happened was we'd been texting on the Saturday morning. He'd been on a day off, and he'd been on the phone. And David could be a bit camp now and again. So he was on the phone, and we're just chatting away and, and all that. And then put the phone down. And then I sent him a text. I went, I forgot to tell you this bit. So I sent him a text, and I expected him to text back. Nothing. Sent him a text a couple of hours later. I says, have you got out of bed yet? Nothing. And then I says, are you going to Dartland tomorrow? Nothing. And I said to Davey, I says, don't know what's going on with David. I says, but he normally replies to us by now. I says, the wind must have blew wrong. And then on the Sunday, I texted him, nothing. And what had happened was he'd had a day off on the Saturday. So on the Sunday, he didn't turn into work. And one of his workmates had went to see his granddad. He had the spare key for his house. He went round on the Sunday night while we were at church, and he'd been found passed in bed. He'd passed on the Saturday, and I was the last one to talk to him. So I did say to Davey, I said, hey, I says, there's me saying that. I thought Gordon would have been good, would have been better than that. I says, yeah, I says, him and Billy kept looking up the back. I says, it was David. I says, it was David. I says, he come through. I says, but obviously we didn't know that he'd passed. And for me, I know it wasn't a message, but for me, it was 100% proof. And a lot of people think that, you've got to be gone for 6 months or a year or something like that.
Right away before.
I know, exactly. Well, David proved the point.
Yeah.
David proved the point, and years ago, there was this medium I used to work with doing bits, and she always made me laugh. She used to walk around like this if we were doing anything, like outside the churches or anything like this. She wouldn't do it in the church, but outside, she'd walk around like this. And I used to say, one night I said to her, I says, do you want some paracetamol? She said, what for? I says, well, have you got a bad head? She went, no. I says, well, what are you doing? She says, because I don't want to see who's coming in. And I was like, oh my Lord. The thing is, it is quite funny, but getting back to the, you must have seen and heard some funny things over the years.
But talking about coming straight away, I always remember this. I was doing a demonstration, a Sunday service in Deal down in Kent. And I was given this message from this lady. woman in the audience, and she was laughing. And I thought, I'm giving a message from her mum, and she's laughing.
Uh-huh.
She said, I said, what are you laughing for? She said, Billy, everything you said is correct, but my mum is still alive.
Uh-huh.
uh, she said, we only live down the road. She said, and I've only popped in to see because she's seen me before. She said, but she's very poorly. We were waiting for her to pass.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, she went out and we having a cup of tea afterwards. And she come running back in and said, my mum died while we were doing the service. She'd come back straight away.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wonderful. But yeah, because that's what I love about mediumship, because it's exciting and you never know what's going to happen.
No.
You don't, no script, no whatsoever, and it's just allowing the spirit world to draw close to you. And my mum always used to say, talking about David there, not telling people, my mum used to say, don't tell people what you do or what you see, so they think you're daft.
Yeah. And the thing is, going back to what you said about the personal growth and things like that, the spiritual growth, one of the things that I do is, personal development.
Yeah.
It's not just for mediumship, it's for anyone.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that say, I don't need it. I don't need it. And I say, all right, okay, then. They are the mediums. I'll be honest with you, they are the mediums. But, and then I'll explain to them, it helps your mediumship. It really helps your mediumship. And then they'll say, all right, because a lot of people don't understand what spiritual growth is.
No.
A lot of people don't understand it.
Don't want to know. No,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But, I believe that spiritual growth it's imperative if you want to be good with your mediumship. And when I say good with your mediumship, I don't mean a good medium. I mean a good with your mediumship as in your connections.
Exactly. And it helps you with your life as well. Get to know who you are. That's your spiritual growth.
Yeah.
And I can look back to what I was, and I can see now the change in me, complete change. And it's just amazing when you look back. I mean, my life was very selfish. It was all about me. I think a lot of us was like that.
100%.
And then as you do grow spiritually, you realize that the needs are, and as a medium, you should. That's part of what we do. Realize and understand the needs of others. When they walk through that door for a reading, or when you're doing a demonstration and go to someone. Yeah.
And a question I get asked a lot of the time, and I'm going to ask you this. Is a medium, because again, I think people get mixed up between a medium and being spiritual. They think they're automatically
very different things.
Exactly. They automatically think it's the same. And
I know some very good, excellent mediums that haven't got a spiritual bone in their body.
Exactly. And the thing is, you don't have to, but I think it helps. But one of the questions I get asked is, because I swear a little bit. And yes, just now and again.
You bite your tongue here tonight then?
Well, I'm being really good. I'm being really good. Someone will hear us swear and they'll be quite shocked and say, I didn't think you swore. And I say, you won't find us swearing in my mediumship, but outside of giving messages, I swear. I'm a normal person. I don't do it every other word, but I swear. And if it comes into mediumship, I won't say it, but I'll hint at what it is.
I actually had it last night.
Right.
I had this girl, and she had a lovely message from her granddad and grandmother, and lucky enough she was in the front row. And anyway, I said, your grandmother swore a lot, didn't she? But this girl was having a problem with her marriage, and there was a lot of tears there as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, she understands everything, but what she's trying to say to you, I said, I can't swear here. So lucky she was in the front. I just walked over and I said,
yeah,
that's exactly what she would say.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. people do say, well, you don't swear. And I'll say, well, yeah, you can still swear and be a spiritual person. I don't, but again, what you said before, when you look back, I think when I just said this to someone a few days ago, when I look back, on my life, and I look back at times where there could have been prison officers, who were my best friends, or would have been by my side. When I look back to them, was I a horrible person? I'm not going to say I was a horrible person, but I was probably a selfish person. Me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are. Not everyone, of course.
No.
People are. But that's where you look back. That's why working on self. And also, a lot of people I find are too nice for their own good.
Yeah.
And they've never done anything wrong. And I think they've got to learn about themselves, that life isn't all sort of sweetness, love and light.
Exactly.
Life can be a bitch, but learn about yourself and getting those spiritual gifts that we have gives you the strength to be able to deal with what life throws at you.
Exactly.
Which I feel is wonderful. And I've had to use those spiritual strengths on more than one occasion when I go through life. But it's a funny old game, this so-called mediumship.
It is.
We talk about the learning and all that kind of. One of the things I find is disappointing today for me is why we've seen an influx of, should we say, substandard mediumship. Is first of all, people want you to run their lives for them, and that's okay if that's what you want. Go and see a psychic and do it. You don't need to go to a medium for that. Most people that I see or come to me is because they want to hear from their loved ones. That's my job, although I can do psychic work as well. I mix with both of them, as you've said. But they're sitting in circle for 6 weeks, if that, and then they're out. And as one said to me not so long, all I want to do is teach. So I did swear. I said, what do you know? And it takes years, as you know. We never stop learning. We're always growing and things like that.
Exactly.
But in 6 weeks. And we used to joke in the old days. You go to Stansted, which, by the way, I do love. In the college place. And the SNU, which I am, as you know, a holder, one of their boards of the SNU. And said they go to Stansted for a week and come back trance medium.
Yes.
Idiots, they think they're, and I despair for some of these people now. And we didn't have social media in the old days.
No.
Went by word of mouth that you was any good. And that's what happened. Nowadays, they go on the internet or whatever it may be, Facebook, and if you keep writing how wonderful you are and run for you, people will believe it. Or they do free readings. And I tell my students, you have the ability with this gift that you have to change people's lives for better or worse. And I feel a lot of people nowadays, they don't understand the responsibility that goes with what we do. Yes, you can have fun with it, but there's a responsibility with it as well.
Yeah, they do. They rush into it. But talking about rushing, you sat in development for a few years, and then you done the churches. How did you come to do the theatre and move into the big time?
It started off with a spiritual group in Andover that asked me they used to hire this theatre and have a big event every year. So they invited me and I did it, and I did that a couple of times, which led on to other people inviting me and then booking my own, because I enjoyed going around and doing things. Country. And it's very simple, just go on their web pages, whatever they may have, or ring them up and then inquire.
And did you find it intimidating? Did you find it quite daunting when you were going from congregation sizes to theatre sizes?
No, because of what I said to you at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter whether there's two in the audience or 200, 2,000, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
No different. Then people are only there really, mainly because they want a message from a loved one.
Uh-huh.
When you go to different countries, they all just want a message from the loved ones.
Uh-huh.
The only trouble with theatres, you do get people going there for a night out.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And you have to be aware of that. And
Yeah.
you've got to be able to deal with it.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I was working with Colin Fry down in a seminar we had down in Cornwall.
Uh-huh.
And this woman sitting there and she kept shouting out, "Ah, give us a message, give us a message." And the husband was sitting there. I said, "Will you shut your wife up?
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, you'll have to leave."
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he shut her up, and but she was drunk.
Yeah.
Colin was on after me, and she did the same thing. So he stopped the show, and they had to take her out.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing, they was fighting out on the green. It was a good night.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It was a good night.
That's it. You've just got to take the good with the smooth, haven't you?
Exactly.
You've got to take the rough with the smooth.
I was in Denmark, and I'm just doing the talk before, just the way I work and so and so.
Uh,
And I'm in the sort of zone. I had some words like, "What?" This bloke and this woman sitting near the front. They said, "Get on with it." And I looked down and I could see a six-pack. I could tell straight away he was drunk.
uh-huh.
I just went, "Security."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's it. You just, but I bet you the old Billy might not have dealt with it that way.
The who?
The old Billy from
Oh, no.
years ago.
No.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't it? Years ago, I'd want to fight him.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. And you do grow. You learn to temper what excesses that you have.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was in the Merchant Navy,
Uh-huh.
and you had to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So you run, one thing I'll also say as well, you do run open online circles now, your classes, and I've been hearing some great things about it. I've been reading some of the people's comments and that, so people can get in touch with you on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
And they can contact you for development for your circles. They can contact you through Messenger for readings as well.
Mhm.
Everything's available on Zoom. And one thing, well, I probably know your thoughts on this one, but I believe that a medium never ever stops learning. So
That's what we said just now. Never.
exactly, never stops learning. And I believe it's like me, yes. I did a workshop a little while ago. I booked onto a workshop, and it was TJ Higgs' workshop, and someone had said to us, "You're booked on. Why?" I says, "Why not?"
Mhm.
It says, "But you do the churches, you do." And I went, "A medium never ever stops learning." I says, "You can always learn
Yeah,
from
always.
someone else." I says, because she might do something a little bit different to me that might just open us up a little bit more. I says,
Mhm.
never ever stop learning. And what I did say was, I says, there's a big difference between furthering yourself or learning further from someone who is a few steps further than me. I says, but I wouldn't learn from anyone who hasn't done as much as me.
And well, I can understand. But I actually believe you can learn something from everyone.
Oh yeah, you can.
But,
Yes.
And the only trouble is, for me, is finding someone that doesn't know me,
Yes.
and and it actually intimidates them if you go into their groups.
Yes.
That's the
Uh-huh.
problem.
Uh-huh.
I used to love going to still when I was open week at Stansted earlier on this year, the Arthur College, I went to a couple of the workshops there and lectures, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You pick up things and learn things.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that you learn something from everyone, but
or a different way to put things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, different ways, but I've been reading some good write-ups on your online development, and I know that you still do the churches and still do all that. You're still very, very active.
Well, I've cut back a lot now.
Yeah, cut
I don't
back.
travel so much now.
Although
I may be with my friend Craig Morris, who you may have heard of.
Yeah.
They want me to go and do another tour of Denmark and Sweden.
I was just going to ask you, are you still doing abroad?
No, because it's mainly to do with the Brexit. I know the big 2 hours to get through. Carry on. But yes, I've bring Craig with me, which is good. Because, he'll take care of me and look after me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm 82 this year, so.
Are you 82?
Yeah,
well, you're looking good.
Well, you're looking all right as well.
Well, I try. I'll be honest with you. I put my makeup on, and then I came on. My light was a bit bright, and I went, "Oh my Lord, I look like Betty Davis." And whatever happened to Baby Jane?
You look lovely.
Well, thank you. Well, so do you. But I will say though, you've never changed, though, Billy. No, you've never changed. I mean, I met you 10 plus years ago for the first time, and you still look the same now as what you did then.
Oh dear.
No, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So are you coming back up the northeast any time?
There's no plans to at the moment.
All right.
The thing is, when you're going to go out those places and you got to lug a case around with you, because I don't drive now because it's so difficult for me to lug it on trains and going up there. But I still go to Spirit Quest, which is in February.
Yes.
You've heard about Spirit Quest?
I've heard about it, but I haven't heard a lot about it. So tell me what the Spirit Quest is. Spirit
Quest is usually about 300 people. It's it used to be in Haven Island. Now it's in Weston-super-Mare. In a holiday camp there. And there's brilliant mediums. It covers everything. And this year's me, Les Henderson, Craig Morris, Charles, who used to be known as the psychic cop, very, very well known in the old days.
Oh, right, yeah.
John Edgar from Ireland, he's there, Donald Stewart, some really top mediums there. Trance mediums, good ones, healing, all covers everything. Workshops going on all day long. And in fact, I've got a figure, I'll send it to you.
Send it to us, yes.
And workshops, there's everything. And it is brilliant. It's just, and we always say, Craig and Les and I, it's the beginning of our year for us.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was on a ship.
Oh, we've done cruises as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what I must have been seeing, yes. Yeah, I thought it was on a ship.
There's one lady that did the cruise with me as well. We started off doing it with Gordon, first of all, the cruise. And she does regression, so another one does feng shui and tarot. There's everything. It covers every aspect. There's always something there for someone. Plus you have readings, healing, whatever it may be. And during the daytime, and then every evening there's a demonstration by some of the mediums. There's usually 2 or 3 mediums on each night. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Go on Monday. And Keith always says, he keeps it as cheap as possible. I think it's about £340. So, which is not.
No.
You don't have to pay anything else out unless you have a private reading. It's excellent. It's just good value. And he says, everyone leave your ego behind. Everyone's equal here.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
There was a couple of mediums that went, and when they found they wasn't being fussed over, they went home.
Right.
So everyone treats you. And it's just good fun. As I said, after they do the dems on the night time, they there's usually a band or an act or something on. So, and they have a fancy dress on the Saturday night. This year it's about sequins, very bright.
I've just bought myself a lovely gold sequin dress.
There we are. That's talk about signs.
Yes, just bought it. I bought it because I was taking the service at Philadelphia for the New Year opening service, and I've thought, right, I'm going to get that. I seen that dress, and I was like, I'm going to get it. And I'm going to wear it tomorrow night. So I wore it for the opening service, and then I hung it in the wardrobe, and I thought, well, that'll have to go away now till next year. But I've just bought me a sequin dress, so you never know.
You never know. I'll send it to you on the messenger.
Send it to us. Well, can I say there was still loads of things that I wanted to speak to you about, Billy? But can I say it's been lovely having you? Will you come back?
Certainly.
Great, it's been lovely, and I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me today. Yeah. And if anyone does want to get in touch with Billy, which I highly recommend, have a look at all the links that are down below in the description. There's his Facebook, there's his links to contact him. Yeah. Or his online services, his online development circles, his online classes, readings. You'll be able to find out where he is. He may be at a church close to you pretty soon. So have a look in the description, and thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much, Billy.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
So thanks for listening to Whispers to Wisdom with Billy Cook. If this episode resonated with you, take a moment to reflect, to explore the resources and the links down below in the description or to the side, wherever you're watching this, and learn more about Billy's work. And you can follow him on Facebook as well. Also, if you'd like to, subscribe and follow to be up to date with more what's coming. Remember, developing mediumship is as much about personal growth and spiritual growth as it is about connections. Until next time, stay curious and be kind to yourself.